Hello Antique and Garden Showcase friends, and welcome back to the channel. It's kind of the end of the work day for me on Thursday while I'm starting to put this together. And really, it's, according to the weather forecast, the last pretty day left. I'm sitting in the mini mall parking lot. I just went in to see how things are kind of selling this week, if I need to bring anything else. And, it's kind of been slow today and whatever. So I'm actually thinking about going home and maybe working on caladiums and cleaning up my garage shelf. So I think that's going to be the story for the day. I'm going to try to get some caladium bulbs in. I might try to get some marigolds started. That shelf's a wreck because I didn't even get my bulbs cleaned off in the fall. So they're all still sitting there. All still sitting there in their trays, just like they were when we left them in that video back several months ago. But I think they'll all be just fine. So let's go check out some caladiums and see what's happening today. This is the mess I want to tackle, and it is a mess. There are things left from fall. Literally, stuff got dropped in here on the grow light shelves, and that's where they've been left. I have cannas and things left down here that winter over, but all of the caladium bulbs look like this, except for the one or two I got cleaned in the video because I never got back to these. The weather got really, really rough outside and things going on with the business, so I've got my pots to start them in up here. Everything's ready to go. It's just a matter of cleaning all this off. I gotta get the heat mat still here on the shelf. It's ready to go. I gotta get it plugged in and just get ready for those caladiums. So here's the before shot. Hopefully the after is gonna look much, much better. Well, it was so nice this afternoon, I decided to get outside and actually enjoy the last of the 60-degree days we're going to have for a while, because I think the weather is sitting in to be a little bit colder, and the tree has just about done all it can do. Boy, the wind the other night really took a toll on that, and it's not been real cold, but it's starting to get that end of the bloom cycle look. As you can see there, they're not all as pretty as they were before. They're kind of rough looking, so they're dropping a lot too. But anyway, I've got a table set up out here, and I'm going to start with my two Monrovia ones. The Monrovia, this one, whatever it was, the Burning Heart, that's the one that I use in, let me walk you over here. I use it in this urn every year. It's that great big red one that's kind of the centerpiece for that bed, so I want to make sure I get that one started if I don't get any others started right away. But I do want to hit that one, and I'm also going to do the red ruffles as well, which I had on the front porch last year, and it was really pretty and had kind of a twisted leaf. So I'm really happy with the performance of the two Monrovia ones. They have been super good, and I found those at my local Lowe's store. So I'm simply going to use leftover pots I had. Yeah, Proven Winners, I'm putting Monrovia in. You don't get too mad. But anyway, they're basically the same thing from what I can tell. I'm going to pot these up. I'll use these trays, and I always keep my tags, so I save my tags from year to year. I put them right in the tray when I store the bulbs. So I'll have to clean these up too, because as you can see, as I said, I didn't even get to this part in the fall. So these bulbs have been pretty much packed in their own soil all winter long, and that's actually a good thing because they've probably held moisture. They're probably just perfectly fine. So I'm gonna get into these and see how they look. So I got all the dirt cleaned off of red ruffles here, and I did have one bulb that looked pretty poor in there. It almost looks like it's perished. It's really soft and not any good, which is kind of surprising, because usually I leave most of the dirt on here anyway. So I'm going to take my pruners, I'm going to trim off all this stuff on top, and then we're going to see what these corms actually look like, if I think it's salvageable or not. I hope I'm not going to have to buy new caladiums this year. So after I got those all taken apart, it does look like that I had some natural bulb separation there, and then I had one to break off here. So I do have a healthy bunch here. So I'm going to let that dry out, and I'm going to actually have two sets. So I'll have my one bunch of Florida red ruffles last year will become two plants, and that's what I was hoping for, because my goal for these, okay, so I took you around here and I showed you the one that I'm using for the center bed. It's going to be the big one that I use, the Heart's Flame, but I think I'm going to put the big one here, and then I'm going to use the red ruffles with a combination in those planters this year, or maybe the front porch. Can't decide, but I've got a pair, so I can use them in either one that I decide on there. So that might be a good way to use those. And I'm trying to, do as much cost saving by reusing plants that I already have this year, because as we know, things are not getting cheaper out there, even in the garden world. So what I usually do is just fill a pot up with a little bit of potting soil, kind of get that in around the edge and just make a little indentation down in there. And then I'll literally take, this entire clump's not really separated all that much, so I'm just going to use that as one big clump. And then I'll just kind of press that down in there. I'll take another scoop. This is the handiest scoop. It fits perfectly in a 4-inch pot, fills it up. I got that from Martha Stewart's Kmart collection a long time ago, and I would give nothing for this scoop because it's the perfect size. Then just fill in around the top, cover that over, and then I'll give it a light mist of water. The soil is slightly damp right now, so I'm not going to worry about that too much because I don't want these bulbs to rot. And then I'll put that on the heat mat once I get these back inside and get that heat mat going. So there's one of the Florida red ruffles ready to go. Well, I got out here and got started, and I just kept on cranking. The burning heart ones, I used actually chrysanthemum size pots because they're such big bulbs. I actually got 2 this year, so this is the first time it really multiplied enough to split it. And so I've got 2 of the great big burning hearts. I don't know what I'll do with that other one, but I'm definitely going to find the spot for it. And then I started with my radiance. This is the first ever Proven Winners caladium that I ever bought. And I bought 2 plants, and they're now 5. I have 5 out of the 2 plants I started with. And you can see after I've cleaned these down, this is kind of what they look like. Got all the roots off of there, and I trimmed off the top. And then what I do is I just place a bunch of these together. In fact, I'm gonna try to get all of these that are left here in the center of the pot. And then I'll just simply take a scoop of dirt. And these can be jammed in here. The more you jam in, actually, the thicker and prettier plant you're going to get whenever you pre-start these. So I just kind of tuck them in there really thick. And then I'll just take my scooper, scoop dirt over top, smooth it over like these, and then I've got one last tag to put in there. And I think that's where I'm going to stop today on these. I may prepare some more. It's getting a little bit late, but I'm trying to at least get a good start on the ones that I use the most. And I do use the Burning Heart and the Radiance are my 2 favorites. So I am going to take these and put them into solid trays that are not open. That way it's going to keep my heat mat a lot cleaner when I water, and things won't be falling out through there. So that was a mistake I made. I couldn't remember whether I used the open trays or not, and I got to thinking about it. I'm like, no, I don't want to mess all over my nice new thermostatically controlled heat mat. So these are going to go in here, and they'll go into the plant shelf. Well, I did get a spot for these cleaned off. I didn't get the whole thing cleaned off yet, but they're in here, and this can be a project I can finish on the weekend. I can get the heat mat hooked up, I can get them watered, I can get the lights on, and all that kind of thing, because I've got plenty more to do down here. There's a lot more caladiums on the shelf. So that's just a good start. It's starting to get cloudy outside, so I need to go clean up and get the rest of my things back indoors. Thank you so much for watching Antique and Garden Showcase. It's good to get back out here and start doing a little bit of gardening for a change. I know we've been heavy on antiquing and retail and all that kind of stuff lately, but it's seasonal. You know, it's kind of what we do. And I've had to put a few things on the back burner to keep retail going and to kind of get used to that whole process and what happens, you know, different seasons of the year and things. So, and then, you know, we've had a little bit of weather too, you know, tornado 2 streets over, hurricane force winds, just little stuff, you know, around here to kind of keep us preoccupied with other things. So anyway, I hope you're having a good weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.